welcome back to my channel. This is early morning crafting with Jeri-Ann. No, it's not. I was getting ready to start a DIY, and I wanted to share something with you that was unusual, so hang on. We're going to do a DIY with nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and this is a package of nautical rope that I've had. As you can see, it's 13 feet. It's the it's a decorative nautical rope, and it's from a floral garden. And here is the new one I just bought. It is 9.5 feet, also from floral garden. Everything looks exactly the same on the label, doesn't it? But it's a lot less. And I say that, I mean that. It's let me do a really quick 30% less. Is that what you would say? For 25% less. So if this was divided into 4, they took 1/4 of it off. So, but there's also, if I can hold it in my hand together, I don't know if you can actually note. Oh, you can tell a little bit there. This one, which is the new one, is a lot thinner. Again, not a lot, but it's enough that if I put them both in the same DIY, you will definitely notice. And the color variation, I think, is each time you get the nautical rope, the color variation is a little different anyway. But I wanted to share that with you because it's going to make a difference how many you need or use when you know, we call for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start using the 9.5 feet because I have more of it. I know that sounds silly, but I hopefully now it's enough. When I did the math in my head, I figured they were 13 feet. I bought 2 more, so I would have 3, but I never even looked at the tag until just now. So let's get at it. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree Coastal Farmhouse wreath. This is our first throwback wreath make. I don't know, but it was a direct inspiration from this wreath from Hobby Lobby, which was $13.99. I said, oh no. So we're going to use some nautical rope. We're actually going to use 3, 1 13 and 2 9s, as you saw in the beginning. One of these bows are optional if you want. You can make your own bow, but I just wanted to make it easy. And you're going to need some tape. It doesn't have to be packing tape. It doesn't have to be duct tape, but you're going to need some kind of tape. And you may or may not want to use glue also in conjunction with the tape. The glue just gives a nicer finish, and I'll show you when we get to that portion. But if you've ever worked with the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree before, you know that the ends are taped, just like any rope you can get or trim that you get from the craft store. When they go to cut it, they tape the ends so it doesn't unravel in the future. But what I decided was the best size was to use the 2 9-foot ropes and 1 13-foot rope. So you're going to need 3 altogether to make this size. If you do want to make it smaller, I still recommend you get 3. You'll probably just use less of it. But what we're going to make is we're going to make a 3 rope braid, very similar to the little braid that we put on our Easter egg, which is what inspired me to make this our first throwback redo. Because what this is a very easy beginner macrame project. And like I said, we kind of already touched on this particular braid before, but we're going to do it on a larger scale. So if you have any kind of mobility problems, then you can go ahead. It's much bigger. It's easier to work with the big rope than it is with the little string. So I thought that'd be nice. So all I'm doing is I've taken the 3 ropes next to each other, and I folded them all in thirds. And now I'm cutting them into individual strands. Again, it won't be an exact measurement, but you don't need exact, you try to get as close to possible as being even. And what I'm doing is, this happens to be burlap colored duct tape. My sister Alicia gave it to me. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapping that around where I'm going to cut, and this way it seals the ends, both ends at the same time. So you cut right in the middle, and then what I'm doing is I'm matching up 3 pieces of rope, 2 thin and 1 thick, and I'm taping them down to my table. I'm sorry that's a little bit off camera up there, but for you to catch the whole braid in, all I'm doing is taping it down to the table. See how there you go. See, they're not very close together. They don't have to be very close together when you start. And now we're just going to braid. And we're going to, if you've never done a braid before, it's very simple. I always start with the outsides. And basically what you do is you take whatever ropes are on the outside and you put them to the opposite side. And then you repeat from left to right to left to right. And that's really all it is. It just seems like it might be something more difficult. But the trick to this one is to keep the 3 ropes flat. I like to work with it on the table for that very reason. And while you're braiding them, keep them flat and it'll create this beautiful continuous braid. Now, this is inspired by an actual nautical knot that is actually made with 1 continuous rope. But I figured, guys, let's crawl before we fly. How's that? No, honestly, I had started off trying to make that 1 continuous braid with this rope. But this rope has a little bit of a mind of its own. And I just thought it would be a little bit difficult for everybody to go ahead and jump into flying just yet with this particular nautical rope. So we'll get there one day, I promise. So the reason I'm calling this the throwback remake is because this is macrame that I did as a child that I'm now turning into something that I would like to decorate with my home as an adult. I bring it the 70s into the 90s. Oh, wait, this is not the 90s. Sorry. To 2019. That was close, right? I was only off by 20 years. No big deal. Or 40 years. I don't know. But anyway, so now this is the part that's probably the most difficult, but it's not even that difficult, is matching the strands of where you started to where you finished, okay? And this is where I'm going to use glue, but you can go ahead and use tape. But what you have to do is you bring the wreath around, make sure that the rope stays flat, the braid stays nice and flat to the table, and you're going to kind of match the different sections. So basically what you want to do is just take your time to try to figure out how this braid would continue. It's not very difficult, and honestly guys, this isn't important. If you're going to put a bow on it, or if you're going to finish the joint where the 2 pieces join together with any kind of embellishment, you don't have to worry about it being exact. But I have a little bit of an issue where, you know, I try to make it look perfect. Try. That's the key word. But I'm just taking a minute to try to figure out how this braid would look best if it was continued to be 1 continuous braid around. And that wasn't really very difficult. What I did was I tried to pair up the sections that I were going to tape together, and then made sure that I marked them with tape just to show you, and I moved them out of the way. And then what I did was I took basically those ends, see that if you need to trim them down if necessary, like that, and then add a little bit of glue to each end and then stick them together. And then once I have the 3 strands connected, I took a little bit of extra glue and I put it over it. And that's just me sliding it on my table to make sure I didn't glue it to my table. And then you want to repeat the same thing. Make sure you don't see how my braid has gotten a little looser there. You just want to make sure that you tighten it before you do your trimming to make sure it fits perfectly, okay? But as you see in my finished product, that once you put a bow on that area, you don't really notice it. And one of the things I like about this particular bow from the Dollar Tree is that it comes on like a really long wire. So it really does make it helpful, and it also makes it customizable, and I'll show you that at the end. But what I'm doing is I'm just wrapping a little piece of tape around where I need to cut it. Basically butting the 2 ropes up to each other. Make sure you don't get them twisted. And then I'm cutting to see where they fit, basically. I did want to have them not all the seams in a row. The first one kind of worked out that way, but I didn't want all the seams in a row. It would be kind of better if they were like one seam's a little over to the left instead of right, basically so that your seam isn't lined up. That just will add strength to it. That's all. And then once you get to your final one, you're just going to repeat the process. And then when you have all of the seams glued, you may need to go ahead and adjust. Your braid might be tighter at the top than the bottom, so you just want to manipulate the braid around a little bit. Now, if you want this to be a stiff wreath, this is where you can go ahead and you can glue a wreath form or cardboard or anything to the back to keep that perfectly hard round shape. The inspiration piece, just like this one, is not meant to be a hard round wreath. It is meant to be like alive or organic, I guess is really the word. It's not supposed to be alive. Don't let it come alive on you. But it's supposed to have that organic feel, and the rope kind of wants to like hang in a natural fabric type of feel. But if you want it to be a perfectly round stiff wreath, you can absolutely cut out a piece of cardboard or foam board and into a circle and go ahead and glue it right behind it. I won't say attach it to a particular wreath form because it depends on the size you want your braid to be. Okay. And now I'm just showing you how you can see which ones you're supposed to match up together by following the rope along the braid is what I was just doing there. So to make sure before I glued on my last piece that I actually was matching the pieces around with our corresponding front of the ropes. What am I saying, people? Help me figure out what I'm telling you. So when I finally glue the last pieces, then we're going to go ahead and adjust however it needs to be adjusted, as long as it looks neat. Now, I said I chose to use glue, but technically you could take tape, clear or this burlap colored tape, and you could tape the two joints together. The glue just holds it a little bit better, and then I like that I could be able to put the glue over the three ropes together. So actually they'll each support each other, which is really nice as well. Okay, so now we just take this bow from the Dollar Tree. Like I said, it is wired. It has a wire going through it, but the wire is going in the wrong direction for our needs, unless you want to put this bow on the side. All you do is you just twist the wire so that the wire is going perpendicular to the bow. That's all. And then you're going to clip it on where you want it, give it a couple of twists, and lay the wire down. And now I'm going to put two little jute hangers on the back, just to keep pressure off of the rope. Like you could hang this on any of the little rope braids parts, but I just wanted to keep the pressure off there. So I went ahead and I glued it to two sets of the strands. I made sure the glue hit both sides. So it would, again, another way to help keep it together. And I decided to put a hanger on the other side as well, and I'll show you why in a minute, because all you need to be able to do to change the look of this wreath is to turn the upside down, hang it in the other direction, and twist the bow. So here's how it looks like with bow on bottom. I didn't make a bow on side option for you guys, but obviously you could. You see how it does kind of create like a really natural hang to it. It almost takes on an oval shape like this. And then here it is upside down. All I did was hang it on the other hanger and twist the bow 180 degrees so it was still on the wire, but it was hanging on top. And that's it. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you do, please give this a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in learning how to make this wreath or learning the macrame technique or any of those little tips we have. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye.